Yo, what up, Internet? Welcome to Bricks and Beer, episode 86. Fuck yeah. Welcome back to your mom's favorite podcast about Lego and beer. You know how we do it. Um, the Wrath of a Thousand Suns is over here. Sorry. It's the only time I can record. So, today's beer, wherever the fuck you are, is the Deschutes Fresh Squeezed IPA. It's kind of like a classic IPA. They list some numbers, so if those mean something to you, you know. It's from Bend, Oregon, up north. It's quite delicious. Quite delicious. You know, it's like fresh and tropical and alcoholic, fruity, tangy, aerobic. I don't know. It's good. The words say some stuff on here about impossibly juicy and undeniably refreshing. No fruit was harmed in the making of this beer. So it's, fruity, tangy, alcoholic. Let's go with that. So today's episode is going to be kind of crazy because I've got a thing to show you guys. I've got like original build content, which hopefully is why you guys show up here. And then I have something kind of special, which is a bit strange. It's going to be a unique one, so I suggest you hang around to the end. Maybe you'll hate it. Maybe you'll love it. My neighbor's kid apparently hates it. There's going to be some weird ambient stuff that you probably can't hear, but I definitely can hear. So if I'm looking off into space, it's because like my neighbors are partying in the street. I don't know. It's weird times. So yeah. So today we're gonna talk about a build that I built. But I figure since I'm talking about that, I might as well like show some older builds and stuff. I pulled some things out of storage and I've got photos and, I can do the thing where I make silly images appear, which will be fun. Hopefully you'll enjoy the thing. So what we're going to talk about today is speeder bikes. Speeder bikes. Everybody knows what speeder bikes are, right? Sure. Yeah, you do. Well, maybe you don't. But I would say most people know what speeder bikes are. And I think the thing that introduced speeder bikes to the masses was Star Wars. This is the OG, It's like forest terrain, Andor. So this is a biker scout, obviously, on a speeder bike. And it floats and it goes, and he's a thing. Oh, it broke. This little gun fell off. This is huge, by the way. This is why I bought this, because it was $5 and it's huge. But I love speeder bikes, and I like the classic Star Wars speeder bikes. I think that it doesn't need much. It's like two vanes and a saddle, and it's very reminiscent of an actual motorcycle, which is kind of where all the inspiration for speeder bikes, I think, comes from. I think it was the design people at Lucasfilm or whatever were like, hey, motorcycles, but in space. So, I love Star Wars, and I like all the weird parts of Star Wars, like Shadows of the Empire, it's one of those things that happened when I was in high school, and it was like the latest Star Wars content, and there had been a drought for a while of like official full marketing rollout. And Shadows of the Empire is kind of weird because it has, like Chewbacca in a bounty hunter disguise, which is great, and it's the story of Leia and the Bosch outfit. So like it's got some cool Star Wars things, and then it has a knockoff Han Solo named Dash Rendar, and then there's a bunch of speeder bikes. So like gangster speeder bikes. So I built a dude called Johnny Bad way back in 2009, and he's got a speeder bike, obviously, and he's very much like Dash Rendar. He used to have an armor piece on him, which has been long repurposed for his Star Vikings. But here he is in his speeder bike. Let's see. Speeder bike. Live and uncut, sort of. Speeder bike. So he's very Star Wars. And I built a little dio. It looks like this. He's being chased by like some cops. And the cop speeder bikes are very much like route, kind of boring versions of his cool hopped up one. The thing that I really like about this design is this handlebar setup. It's the revolver pistols, and they're in the clips, and then the iron sights of the pistols actually work in the negative space there. So I've used this a bunch. I've used it for bikes, bikes. Yeah. Um, there's breakdowns on my Instagram somewhere. They're easy. You could figure it out. But yeah, I don't know. If you really want to know where to find those images, leave a comment. I don't know, get a hold of me somehow. So anyway, back to speeder bikes. So Johnny Bad, he's very much in the vein of Shadows of the Empire and knockoff Star Wars stuff. So then a little time goes by. It's like another year, and I build another bike because speeder bikes are cool, and because this figure came out, and this figure's amazing. So there's a dude who's a fish man, and yeah, he's from Space Police 3. And so I built him a giant, cool hot rod, ridiculous one. Yeah, and he needed a bigger bike because he's a bigger dude, obviously, because he's got the big crazy fish head. And I built this 11 years ago, so like none of this stuff is new. It's all kind of old hand at this point, right? It features the Wacklug sigil, pre-Wacklug adopting this sigil because it's the best. And it's got chrome, sexy chrome action, which you can see is reflecting all over the place. And the cool thing about this was actually, I think it was Adrian Floria reached out to me because he was like, hey man, the guy that made that minifigure wanted to know who you are and say that's cool. And I was like, fuck yeah, man, fuck yeah. So I've kept these together because number one, like, what else am I gonna do with them? And number two, they're pretty fun and they kind of work in a lot of different things. So one of which is back in the day when the before times amusement parks were a thing. Legoland California in Carlsbad had Star Wars days, and like I went to it for a number of years. It definitely has become a thing that I'm not really psyched about anymore. The sine wave of the Star Wars love, I think, maybe is part of it. I also just like every time we went, it was like long and hot and like, it's cool because it's Legoland, so like you can go to Miniland and like take silly photos, but it's also like you're just standing around and you got to build Star Wars stuff. So back in the day, 11 years ago or whatever, 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I built Cantina ADU. It was like a very much like Shadows of the Empire inspired kind of thing. It's a bar, and it's a biker gang bar on Tatooine. And it's got, different bikes and little markets. And, there's some stormtroopers. You can see it's Star Wars. It's Star Wars. So I threw this dude in it, obviously. And then I got a couple other dudes that are still around from that day. And they're all kind of based on the same design. It's the same chassis with the guns and the minifig hands and then the fork. And this is actually like a really universally applicable frame for everything. It's also pretty compact. I think that's one of the things with speeder bikes that people tend to miss the mark on is like they make giant like fighter jets, and it's like, nah man, it's like a motorcycle. And minifigs are weird proportioned anyway. So it's this dude, so he's got fatter engines with big intakes. Pretty simple design. 10 years ago, bro. And then here's this dude. He's fun. I like this alien in general. And then his bike, it's more along the lines of the old classic. Man, it's like somehow the big model is more awkward. Who knew? So yeah, he's a Star Wars dude. This is from that mini fig scale bionicle stuff that they were doing. There's a rubber band around his neck to make up for his weird minifig compatibility. It also makes him look more alien. He's taller. He's kind of got a mailbox. Whatever. So yeah, so old bikes, so that's Cantina ADU. It was fun. It was it's actually one of those things that like, I love the grimy Tatooine stuff so much that like, I would build another speeder bike, biker bar in a heartbeat. I probably could do slightly better now. Maybe. I don't know. I've built so many bars in the last 10 years. What's up with that? I don't know, guys. So then, of course, we got to give Blacktron some love. Um, standard thing. MBT fly-in. Fucking over 10 years ago. But that was built around that time. And, And then, a couple years passed. And I kind of, just chilled out on the speeder bikes. I built a bunch of other shit. And then I built 3 more. Oh, yeah. And in between that, I built the Shark Bike. The Shark Bike's kind of fun. It's bright light blue, which is at the time like a unique and new color to me. This is also circa 10 years ago. There's a little dio that goes with it. You can see I'm really pushing towards the feel the action kind of vibe, and trying to do more than just build a little thing. I'm incorporating dioramas and backdrops and different things. So these 3 are kind of fun. There's a desert survival one, which has a wacky alien on it, and then there's a cyberpunk flashy Akira one with a douchebag dude, and then there's also this hardcore race one, and there he is. And I'm wondering if my computer is getting full, because my video is lagging. We'll see if you guys notice. And so there's those 3. I built a truck for them so they could all go on a truck. The truck's kind of mediocre. I like the cab. The whole trailer bit was kind of whack. But I like those dudes. They're funky dudes. They're kind of wacky cast of characters. And so that was I don't know, 4 years ago-ish that I built all those, and I haven't really built a speeder bike since. It's been quite a while. But I did build one. But before we get to that, I'd like to show you some of my friends' bikes. They're cool, right? You know my friends. So first up, the homie Jeff. He's built all kinds of speeder bikes. He has a grip of them, but I just grabbed 3 of them. So there's, the lava action. You gotta fucking love this. The crazy portal thing, fucking the first and only use of the Dimensions disc thus far. That's fucking kick ass. And then fucking rocks. Everybody hates fucking rocks, but Jeff had access to a lot of rocks. Weird. The circle is now complete where I have now touched those rocks years and years later. So yeah, and these are old. These are from 4 years ago as well. And then our boy Morrow, he's got a long range scout. He's got to find the armadillo. He's looking for it. And then our boy Z, he's got 3. And like I said, the backdrops on all of this are incredible. And each one of these, it's hard to even articulate how good these are. These are some of my favorite of Zach's builds by far. So you got the Starscape, which is incredible. Then you got the mountain, which I love. And I love the bokeh, the forced perspective elements of that. And then he built a garage. And it's glorious. This set is amazing. So yeah, man, Zach was fucking crushing it, always. He's Zach. And then our boy Aaron jumped in this year, with Flying Techno Aztec. Look at how rad this is. Aaron loves this big. He loves this big. It's his spirit animal, quite literally. The Jaguar Warrior is his spirit animal. So yeah, so that brings us to now. Aaron posted that, not yet, maybe. He built it recently, which brings us to now. I built a thing, and it's a speeder bike. Surprise, surprise. And the bike itself is kind of mediocre. It's not mediocre. It's just not flashy. It's not going to stand out from the crowd like our bro, the fish bike. But I wanted to do something kind of fun with it, and I'm just going to show you the photo, because I think the photo is more effective than me showing you the actual model. So here it is. Fun times always. Fluid transport aquatic. Yeah. So fucking 80s vibes, vaporwave vibes, good times, beach times, fun times always. Uh, I I'm really proud of this. Like I don't say that about a lot of my builds, but I think the presentation, especially like photography, I fucking hate photography. And in recent times, I've actually learned quite a bit more about photography and how bad I am at it. So even this photo is like not great, but there's not like shitty out of focus stuff per se because it's all Lego. You gotta fill the atmosphere, you and then of course I wanted to capture a moment. There's obvious like Keith Goldman inspired vibes here, but it's really more just like Miami Vice and like all the stuff that I like, which is like cheesy 80s shit. There's a song that I've been listening to called "The Darkest Side of the Night." It's by Metropolis. It's the theme song to Jason 4, I think. It's a movie I've never seen. I'm never going to see. It's apparently awful. Like even in the comparison of other Jason movies, it's awful. But it has the most like just epic song ever. So if you want to check that out, I'll link it below. But that's where this dial kind of comes from. So here it is. It's a it's a thing. It's a beach. This like bright light aqua color is one of my favorite colors. This is basically all of mine, because it's big-ish. Like it's not huge, but for using a rare kind of color like this, I'm definitely stretching all my pretty colors to the max with this. And then there she is. She's on the bike. We should actually talk about her and the bike, I guess. Like I said, the bike is not amazing, but it does have some fun things about it. So here she is. Number one, her hair is the Statue of Liberty flame from the Brickhead, which apparently first came in Pirates of the Caribbean. It was Javier Bardem. That was his hair. It was in black. You remember. You saw the movie, right? Okay. So there was a gold version, and I have that, and it makes for perfect windswept hair. And then the face, courtesy of the homie Jeff, Jeff, is cool girl. She's like the mall rat or whatever, but she needed cool sunglasses, man. For sure. And then the thing that really is the gangster thing about this is not only is it like a Sea-Doo, in South Beach in 2088 or whatever. For those of you astute enough, you see those half pins? Yeah, boy. Yeah. They're white. They're not very common. They come in like, I don't know, 7 sets or something, 8 sets. You can look them up. They're all weird. They're like, there's one creator set. It's like a boat. It's very similar color scheme to this. It comes with like 1 million, like I think 37 in a row. And then all the other sets come with like 1 or 2, and like I have no idea where these came from. They're here. They're in the wall. So they're fucking awesome, and I had to use them. And also those are Unikitty ears, the little vein things in the front. So see, it's a speeder bike on the water. You guys get it. And then like color composition. So I looked up some like Sea-Doo stuff because I have a vision, but then I like to check out references and shit. And the blue and white is like definitely like your classic kind of Sea-Doo color scheme. And because the splash is trans blue and clear, you can't use that for the windscreen. So you have to use a different trans blue, well, trans light blue. So anything like there's a lot of weird color combos that don't really work with this because there's so much going on as far as the bike goes. And then the tree is dark red, which you might not notice because dark red is very brownish. And then when you put the backdrop, which we're getting there, it looks brown It doesn't quite look dark red, which is very interesting. And then, there's the backdrop. And it looks like this. It didn't have this before. I had to frame that atmosphere. That was the thing. And now it might go on the wall. It might go, somewhere over there to look pretty because it's pretty. And it's one of the things that like normies see and they're like, oh, hey. So one thing about the backdrop that is kind of weird is I'll just hold the sun. You see this line? That's that line right there. You see how it drops? And when you look at it like this, people are like, oh, is that weird? Is that a mistake? It's definitely not a mistake because my landscape also goes like this. So in order for it to read correctly, look at that sandworm coming out of there. It has to also jump, which is like, and because the jump is happening behind the sun, you don't notice it at all. See, yeah, there, good times, good times. Live and uncut. So this was like more fun than I expected it to be. It's also one of those things where like I love my whack leg boys because at first I just built this and I was like just gonna cheat the photo and like I live kind of by the beach so I could get a sunset and just put a sunset behind here, and they were like, or you could not cop out and you could fucking actually fill the atmosphere, not be a douchebag. Don't be a full-time asshole. So I did it. So that was the thing. So I built this backdrop. Oh, this beer is good, man. Fruity, tasty, tangy, alcoholic. Great. It's also like fairly early. It's a weekend. I'm allowed to drink fairly early, fairly timely. Anytime? Fun times? Anytimes? Yeah. So yeah, I built this bike. I built the backdrop. I'm happy with the bike. I'm happy with the backdrop. This will probably get mulched at some point. I do like the shoreline. Like it's kind of one of those things where like there's not much to this. Like it's basic, but I think like because it's so basic, everything has to be intentional. When you have like a big crazy thing full of wacky techniques and stuff, and it's visually complicated and things, you can kind of cheat a little bit more. But when you're making something that has like a few elements, like very minimal stuff, it takes a little more. It takes a little more. So yeah, that's our speeder bike episode, I guess. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the homies builds. I mean, they're all kind of older. There might be more speeder bikes to come, maybe not. If you do build one, I definitely suggest like doing the background thing because like it makes a world of difference, man. Like I've seen some of the homies builds from recently, and like they're killer, man. Like check out the boy Victor's one. Dude, it's great. I love that there's zero bike frame in that, or like Micah's, and he's got kind of a dial going, but like I think the photography angle of things is such a bitch, but it's such a aid in presentation. So yeah, I don't know. Do your thing. Be a full-time asshole if you want. So that kind of wraps up the original build part, and now we're gonna get into some wacky shit. So, making sure this is recording right now. Last time, I opened up some X-Pods, and you guys didn't even get to see it. So, here's an X-Pod with a crinkly bag, unopened. Oh, it's so loud. It's so loud and poppy. I have to do so much editing right now. Or not. Yeah, so here it is. It's the aquatic one. You could make a shark out of it. It's great. I love this one, dude. I love this one so much. And also, like, check this out, dude. So it was one of the first sets that I got that came with glow-in-the-dark teeth. So money. And these are pristine and new. This air is perforated and straight from Denmark. So Denmark with some 12 years of pollutants or whatever. Yeah. So another X-Pod. Big shout to Ranjo. The homie Ranjo is, he's the man, dude. Like, I can't get over this. So update on the last episode is I did sort the majority of the Ranjo collection that I acquired, which does mean that I went up one more drawer. So these drawers are now taller than me. That's a thing. Like, I could get a rolling ladder, you know, do the thing. But I'm not that guy. Like, this is probably as tall as I'm going to go. If it gets crazier than this, I do have, like, a backup plan for how to handle all this. But I don't know. It's great. So, like, he broke my sorting system. I had to fix it. I sorted, like, all of it. Like, the sub-sorted stuff, the bicolor stuff is also sorted. Which, like, I made a choice. I made a hard choice, which was 2-wide brick. For the most part, doesn't go in the wall anymore. Like, being in a single drawer, 2-wide brick, like, it's a bin's worth of stuff now. So I've got 2-wide bins, and they're just like, bang, giant bins of stuff. And then, you know, he showed up the other night, and he gave me more things, which will break my system more. He just, like, look at how big this fucking block of beautiful Lego is. So he's a beautiful man. And I gave him all my Bionicle, which I feel like is a win. Like, that's what he wants. And it definitely isn't serving me good. And for him, like, this Lego is a burden, right? And then he gave me something, which is crazy. Which is really crazy. Are you guys ready? Are you ready for 2002 to say what's up? Some people love it. Some people hate it. Personally, I love it. Hello, Galador. Hello, Galador. This is Nepal and Shimul. Brand new. In the box. Unopened. Look at this crazy dude and his weird Arctic camel mount. I've seen parts of this over the years. Everybody manages to have this part, this, like, blue collar part. But I've never seen any of the other parts. I think I've seen one of these feet, but not in this color. And then I've seen this weird motorcycle torso, but never with the seat. So it's crazy to me, number one, that this is, you know, it's 2002. So this is 19 years old. Like, brand new, shiny, in pristine condition. And it's Galador, and people fucking hate Galador, and they love Galador. I used to hate Galador. I am now on the love Galador part, because, like, when you get this amount of Lego, any Lego that's, like, weird and wacky and different is kind of fun, you know. And Galador has, you know, here's all the Galadors. Number one, there's this, which is just, like, kind of the worst, because it's you can't really integrate it. And then there's Nicholas Bluetooth, who's a terrifying human. There he is with airplane wings. What the fuck is going on there? That thing is made of nightmares. And then you got Gorm Deluxe. Meh. And then you got Jens. And our boy Jens is my favorite Galador. I own his arms. His little pinchy arms, which I've used many a time in Mecha. They make for great, you know, little things. And these all have that click hinge system that we, in modern parlance, I guess, are, like, super accustomed to. It's in one of these drawers. Here we go. Live and uncut. Because of Exoforce and things that have come about since then. But this was the first use of the ratcheting universals, which are super cool. And then, because it's Jen's, I think he has these parts, right? Oh no, this is from a different dude. This is from Gorm. I think this is from Gorm. But there's these kind of wacky articulated arm parts, which they later used for some sub stuff. I remember being like really jealous when the sub ones came out. I never got any of them. But look at this crazy shit. How could you not love this? Like, this is fucking awesome and super creepy. And it's like, it's Lego, but it's not Lego. I find this less offensive than Bionicle. There is some disappointments in like, why isn't this the stud? Why is this not in the system? Like, such a missed opportunity. Not that really you need to stick anything on there, but so little pinch. So Galador. So like 20-year-old Galador. Jen's is great. Who else we got on here? Keck Powerizer. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that dude. And then Euripides. I'm mispronouncing the fuck out of that. I have this dude's staff thing. You also find this dude's armor all the time. This guy seems to be more prevalent than any of these other ones. And then lastly, you've got Uni. Well, I've got one piece of Uni that I've discovered over the years. And then you got Nepal and Shimon. So the crazy thing about this is I've never seen this dude's head. Jeff built like a really kick-ass statue thing for Technomages with a version of this head, but it's a Happy Meal version. So this is brand new to us. And it's got a gimmick where like the eyes change. So let's just make sure we're still recording. We're going to open this 20-year-old thing and look at it. We're going to have some discoveries together, guys. Good times. Fun times always. Oh, it comes in a tray. So fancy. Okay. We got a bag of alpaca parts. Wow, what the fuck is this? Let's just open up this first. This is the first thing that came out here. So there's a whole bunch of crazy shit. Number one, the ice weapon, which is this is meaty. This is like hefty. Also, look at the bubble in there. It's kind of got this cool like frosted bit to it. So this is gonna get used in some sort of ridiculousness. Yeah, man, Technomages is all about Galador. This is what I was kind of tripping out about. It's like a rubbery texture, and it's got this crazy texture. I've never seen this part, and then it's got the Technic axle. So that's very, very interesting. You guys can't really see this, but it looks like it's scuffed, but it's not. I mean, it's scuffed from being in the bag, but I think it's just such a soft rubber that it just has that like scuffy rubber kind of texture to it. Oh shit. Okay, this answers my question. The chair is a thing. Holy fuck, this is amazing. This is fucking super rad. And it's two pieces of plastic, or it's two different colors of plastic that are jammed together. Wow, this is fucking incredible. Holy shit. I have no idea what I'm going to use this for, but it's getting used. Like, this is great. This is fucking awesome. And then we got two more of the Jen's arms. You know I love them. These are far newer than the ones that I have. Oh, the ones I have haven't yellowed that bad. Ooh, sexy stuff. And then we got wacky alpaca feet, which are I guess maybe I'll build a wampa thing. I mean, they're weird enough to where I feel like I need to use them. Oh, look at this dude. This dude's feet are crazy. This must be this is the homie here. Nepal. He's got a knee swivel because logic always needs a knee swivel. These are great. If you wanted to build like a Post-apocalyptic Smurf. Here you go. Here are his. We can make all kinds of terrifying monster dudes. Oh, more of the rubber pieces. Oh, and here's one in like black, which is extra beat up. I mean, 20 years in a bag. It's not bad for soft rubber. And then we got some of these guys in blue, which is excellent. Nope. Instructions. Editor's note, because I can do this. I pulled this out and I didn't even talk about it. And we need to talk about it. Because this is not the instructions. There are no instructions because it's Galador. It's just a weird story about some nonsense in an alpaca and some stuff. And then there's this insane poster on the back. So I was talking about our homie there with wings for arms, like he's the worst cybernetic experiment of all time. Here it is. All right, back to you, Andrew. Instructions. Crushed box. And then you get the display tray, the fanciest of parts. Holy shit, it's like half the dude. Literally, like half the dude. Ah, and then this in white. So this I've seen in black over and over again. Because it comes with the one dude. It might be later than this wave. But this in white is actually far more interesting than it in black to me. Just because it's weirder. And I don't associate it with like, oh, that's that Galador part that everybody has and nobody knows what the fuck to do with. And then there's this dude's head, which is kind of horrible. Kind of looks like a Skeksis. Oh, I see. He uses a terrifying piece of articulation. Why would you do that? That makes no sense. Rawr, rawr. Yeah, Skeksis. They're gonna eat the geldings and shit. So this is like the thing where I get why people kind of hate on Galador, because like, what the fuck do you do with Mr. Skeksis' face? But then at the same time, like, you could build a fucking awesome Technomages thing, which is amazeballs. Oh, that's loud. So yeah. Oh, here's the hand. Does the hand remove? Oh no. It's got a wrist swivel, but it doesn't remove. And either is the elbow. Oh, whack. So the arms are just like solid arms. So this is where people are like, I didn't want action figure components. And I'm like, yeah, but it all went on clearance. And I'm pretty sure Jeff Ranjo didn't pay full price for this. And now, 20 years later, this is both interesting and weird as fuck. And I'm happy to own it and touch it. And somebody needs to touch this stuff, man. Lego, like information, longs to be free. Build some cool shit with it. Okay, so here's our homie. Wait, live and uncut. Oh, oh my god, that's so awesome. Oh, he's so mad. He's so pissed. You did what? You said what? Oh, it's great. Oh my god. Oh, dude. I am definitely going to make him a wacky spacesuit or something. Oh, dude, he is awesome. This is worth it. This is worth the price of admission for Galador alone. Like, you probably don't need this fucking weird alien torso bit, but look at how strange this is. I love that it's just covered in ports. Like, they're going for a thing. They were trying to make Popoids. You guys remember Popoids? Okay, so I only had a limited amount of Popoids. They came in some fast food things. They had weird musical instruments. You could make like flute, panpipes and shit. Popoids. Same appeal as Galador. It all makes sense now. Man. Popoids like blew my mind right there. That's something I haven't talked about or thought about in like a long time. Long time. They were weird, dude. Like expandable tubes, collapsible tubes and shit. It's like Capsella, but for like weird art school kids, I guess. Which Galador, I guess, is for weird puppeteers and shit. You know. Let's just make a thing of nightmares real quick, and we'll talk about it. So yeah. On that note, be good to yourself. Oh, that's unfortunate. And thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging. Build some speeder bikes if you want. I don't know. Do the thing. Frame that action. Fill that atmosphere. FTA. I love you guys. I'll see you in the future.